This video is part 3 of our custom countertop display. In this video we will add our display to the user library again to save the changes we've made. Then we'll make some customizations so we can add a new version of the display to our user library. Let's get going.
Okay, if you recall in our last video, we saved our little display as a library item, and we made some changes after we had saved it. And those changes I think I want to keep because I set up the fold sequence and stuff like that, which would be a good template for me to start with. So I'm going to go over to my user add to user library button again, and when I click on that, it tells me again that the changes that are made, and I say yes, I want to make these changes, and it says the library already contains this one. Do I want to replace it? Well, of course I do, because I made some changes to it. So I'm going to click OK, and that way it'll be added to my user library with all those changes. So now that we have this nice looking design here, I'm going to make some changes to it, and I'm going to save it to the library, but I'm going to change the name. So we're going to go back to the construction view, and let's see, what do we want to do to make some changes to this? First off, I'm going to go to this side over here, and on this, let me zoom in. I'm going to, on this line here, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to say at line, curve line. Now I can bring that out to where it looks good, and it's a little bit jumpy because I'm videotaping while I'm doing this, and that causes to use more stuff, so I'm more of the resources. So that's where I want to put my curve, and I'm going to say yes, click on that. Then I'm going to zoom back out and go over to this one, double click on it. I'm going to click on that line, and then I can use the Control R to just repeat that, so I've got the same exact radius and on both sides, and there's a lot of actions that you can repeat, so you want to check those out in the user manual, and also just experiment with it. So here's another thing that we might want to do. What if we wanted to make that back a little bit higher so that we can have some printing or something on there? So I'm going to zoom in here, and remember the orientation of this flap. So this would actually be the right side of the flap. So I'm going to move this from 220 to, I'm going to make this 280, and hit my tab key. Then I'll go to this side, and I'll make this 280 as well. And so I've got the back up a little bit higher, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to round these corners. So this point here, I'll right click on it, and I'll go to at point, and I can do a chamfer, or I can do a fillet. I want to do the fillet because I want it to be rounded, and so I'm just going to drag it out to where it looks good. That's good. And now I can go to this point and use again my Control R, and it will have the exact same radius as what we put over here. So now let's just let's go back to our 3D view, and there you go. That's a nice looking little design, and that way we can display that. And so I'm going to go to my library here, and in my code I'm just going to say -2 on this, and if I add it to the library, yes, I want to add it to the library. So now I'll have two displays in my user library.